Hey, Snow.
Hey
How you
MJ,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we'll get right to it. We'll talk about the top story. That's still the top story 10 days later.
And
The
that
Chris
is
Rock Will Smith thing.
yes.
Yeah, and we have Sydney to check in with us about this topic.
Hey,
How you doing?
good.
Hey, we wanted you on because we kind of have a differing opinion about this, and we're not exactly anti Will Smith, but we're more Team Kid Chris Rock on it.
Right.
And my viewpoint is, and I think Snow would agree, is that it wasn't a great joke, and I don't think Chris Rock knew about her disorder.
He didn't. He said that he did not know that she had alopecia.
Yeah. So the point being is, yeah, if Will Smith had just said, keep your wife's name out of my motherfucking mouth, I think that would have been okay. I think the line was crossed when he went up and put his hands on Chris Rock. And your thoughts?
Well, see, from what I've understood is that Jada and Chris have had a long history of going back and forth, and the Smiths have set boundaries with Chris to, not make jokes. But with Chris Rock saying that he didn't know about her alopecia, he's not telling the whole truth because he was very aware of it. He spoke out and actually, I believe, a few years ago did a documentary on Black women's hair. And,
Yeah, it's called
how
Good
important
Hair.
it is that we talk about it, about the struggles of their hair, the culture, and so forth. But he was very aware of her alopecia. My take on it is I don't believe violence really settles anything. Like I can probably come to agreement that violence is probably a little excessive, but I just am shocked to see how the world, or not even the world, just some of the Black community is taking Chris's side on the aspect of, well, it's just a joke. So the issue of this is that Black women are not protected. And it was a shock to the world that a Black woman was protected in that moment. So that was like the moment that I focused on mostly is, yes, I don't agree with violence. We also have to look at how far can somebody be pushed before they finally snap, especially if boundaries were set.
But
And myself, as somebody who has a disease that I can't control, using an excuse that somebody was unfaithful so that they could joke about it is kind of a crappy excuse.
but I never took the race thing into it at all.
I didn't
It
either.
didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, so that just was a shock to me, and it wasn't just it's the majority of it is white people, and especially on social media like TikTok, I saw a lot of white folks were stitching videos that Jada was talking about her hair, and they're like, I don't care what people think of my hair or whatever, and they stitch it and they make some funny comment. It's really none of like our business to be talking about Black women's hair. You know what I mean? Especially the white majority, because we don't know about. We know that their hair is stigmatized throughout society and has for a long time. I think it's just recently becoming norm for them to wear their natural hair. So I looked at it as like it's really distasteful, but the most part that I looked at is the world was shocked, even the Black community, that a Black woman was defended and protected.
I have a question on that. I'd just like to get your opinion because I too am aware of their long rift that they've had between the two of them. I mean the stuff about the Smiths boycotting the Oscars before, and I know there was jokes told before. Do you think? Because I just recently thought of this now after we're discussing this part a little bit further. Do you think if it would have been another comedian, like, and same size, I don't want to sit there and say, oh, Will Smith picked on him because he's smaller or whatnot. Another comedian that is the same exact size as Chris Rock or thereabouts, and maybe a newer comedian that they don't have that history. If that person would have told the joke, do you think Will Smith would have slapped that person? And I'm saying this because I think that maybe it was because of the history, and he finally was, like you said, he couldn't control himself anymore. I mean, that is somebody who cannot control their emotions if they marched all the way up on the stage and did that. So, because I don't think that he would have slapped somebody else.
Well, I do because, so like I watched the reactions, and in the beginning, he kind of giggled a little bit till he looked over and he saw the hurt on his wife's face, and then he went into complete, like, defense mode. I'm going to protect my wife above anything. And it literally was a snap. You know what I mean? Like, people have, people can only take so much. And Jada's been a big talk of, like, comedians, and they've made fun of her about her, their open relationship that they had and her cheating. And she's
right.
I think it's just, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to let Snow say something, then I wanted to interject on that too.
Okay. Go ahead. I lost my train of thought. I'll try to get it back.
Okay, well, when the Oscars hires Chris Rock or Ricky Gervais or Amy Schumer to do this, their job is to write jokes. Now, I know personally one of the friends of Chris Rock and who wrote jokes for him in previous Oscars. And in the previous Oscars, Chris Rock's jokes were a lot harsher than that particular joke.
Right. Yeah, and I believe there was talk that a white woman wrote that joke.
I do know what point I wanted to make. I do not. I've watched the whole reaction too. I don't know. Maybe some people think that an eye roll is an expression of hurt. I don't roll my eyes when I am hurt. When I roll my eyes, it's out of annoyance. Like, I thought her eye roll was like, what a tired joke, like, or what a lame joke, like, you're gonna make fun of my shaved head or whatnot. That's how I saw it. I didn't see the hurt on her face. I saw, like, she was annoyed, and then that's why all the other stuff made sense to me about how, like you said, they had the history of the jokes going back and forth between both parties. That's why I don't think that he would have done that if it was like a new comedian or whatnot. I don't know.
Right. I mean, we may never know, but from what, like, I think the important focus was that the world was shocked that a black woman was protected. That's like that's what I got from it. I was just like, wow, look at all of these people. Even there were some black men that were like, that was ridiculous, and they're on Chris Rock's side. I don't think there's really a side to be on because both sides are kind of at fault. You know what I mean?
Okay, but say you're at a comedy show, and I have seen this in person many times, and the comedian makes fun of somebody in the audience. Okay,
that's in the front row.
That's in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And so does that give the boyfriend permission, if he doesn't like the joke that he made, to get up and slap the comedian?
No, if that happens at a comedian show, that person gets arrested and goes to jail.
Right.
No, most people aren't privileged like Will Smith with the celebrity status. They don't get to get out of stuff.
Well, we also gotta put into thought, maybe, okay, so maybe it was set up for him to feel in all aspects, because you think about it, the Oscars have people who write the show, who create the show. They put the Smiths right in front. They put them in front.
Well, of course.
And they brought their arch enemy with jokes about her to the stage. You know what I mean?
I don't think the Oscars did that on purpose because Chris Rock has worked the Oscars for years and he gets ratings. That's why he's there.
The Oscars are known. I think everyone should go back and watch previous Oscars because they're known for being a roast type ceremony. Like there is always the jokes and the picking on of the celebrities by the comedians or other actor comedians. Yeah. That has always happened. Yeah. When Billy Crystal's hosted it, to Ricky Gervais, I just think that, we're coming to the point where I'm like, when they came up with the thing is punk rock is dead. Punk is dead. I'm like, are we getting to the point where comedy's dead? Yeah. Like comedy is now dead? Like.
The people who are writing the jokes though, like we don't even have the original.
This was an off-the-cuff joke. No, this is already an unscripted joke because they already discussed how the fact that they're like, the Academy would not have let him do this. Somebody there would have said, hey, look, she does have alopecia. Yeah. Yep. He did, it was an ad-lib type joke because comedians do that too. That's a style of comedy.
That's something he just came up with.
Yes, no one wrote that joke.
It's I know it's a joke. It's just distasteful. You know what I mean? One, like, you're bringing up black women's hair, which is and I believe Jada's talked on that before about how many years in, cinema and being an actress that she had to.
You still there?
Hello?
Did we lose you?
What happened?
Hey, Sydney, you there?
I hear some kind of...
Hey, okay. Well, we'll wait for her to come back here.
Are you there? Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, my husband turned the car on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
The car, and it was
Okay.
Are you guys still there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had a whole good thing going too when that thing
turned on. It just got derailed there.
I kind of want to ask the question too because I agree with you on some of the other points that you're making. I don't know how to say this without I'm just going to say it, but I don't mean to be offensive if I don't mean to offend in any way, but I don't know if people are getting a little confused about the treatment of black women recently because of how ridiculous some of the questioning was for Ketanji Brown Jackson in her what do they call it? The proceedings,
confirmation hearings.
The confirmation.
Who she got confirmed today?
Right. Yes. Way to go. I don't know if people are they're getting to where they're they're like, yeah, well, now we're seeing people being completely disrespectful to a highly qualified, highly educated woman. And so it's kind of like we're jumping on a bandwagon type thing and being like, well, now I'm seeing what's going on here and this is happening over here. And they're kind of relating the two when they're kind of separate issues.
Yeah, it's considered appropriate behavior now.
You can't put those two together. Like those two are two different situations. I focus on the idea. The main focus is that I don't agree with violence. I feel like Will Smith could have handled that better, right. More maturely. Even I do applaud him for apologizing to everybody and then taking accountability and stepping away from the Oscars for a while. Because that's more than we hear from, somebody like Kyle Rittenhouse who killed 2 people. There's no accountability there. But the fact that we make it sound like he's so violent because he smacks somebody, but other situations, I'm not saying, us as in fact, but there's other parties or followers that, without saying any names, will say Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero, yet Will Smith is violent. That just adds to
actually
the stigma.
there's another time. This is not the first time that Will Smith has slapped somebody, and I agree with you. And I agree. I actually kind of agree with him slapping the first person that he slapped. He slapped an interviewer. An interviewer had asked him a question or gave him a compliment and like hugged him and gave him a kiss on the cheek. And so Will Smith slapped him. That I actually agree with because that person put an unwarranted, the man had kissed him on the cheek. It's like that is a reason to be like, pushing somebody off or going, do not touch me like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so that I actually agree with. He had every right to defend himself there.
And I have a story about a comedian, and this goes to fact of whether it was a joke or not. And I was talking about the guy who wrote for Chris Rock when Chris hosted the Oscars. His name's Rich Voss, and I went to see him in Boston. And I was sitting down front, and I know Rich in person. And my girlfriend at the time piped up and said something. And you could see the wheels turning in his head. And he goes, oh, I don't want to use the term smack her down, but I can go after her for her saying this. I've got a really good joke. And he looked at me, and he gave me a little nod, and he goes, that little eye roll, and said, is it okay? And I'm like, yeah, she's the one who said that.
I would have said do it too.
Yeah.
I mean.
And the response, it was a great joke that he had said. But I wasn't offended by it. No, I guess that because I kind of know Rich and there was no bad history there.
And you're at a comedy show. You went to hear jokes.
Right. Like,
you bought tickets. You paid money to go hear jokes.
Yeah. Like I've had comedians do spots on this podcast where they make fun of us, and that's the point. That's the brilliance of them ripping into you for something, and we laugh. Yeah, like it's cool to be made fun of.
Well, we make fun of ourselves too.
Yeah. So again, I understand your point of view on it, and Sydney, we respect that point of view. We'll get into it a little bit further. I don't really agree with the studios now. They're pulling their support of his movies that he has upcoming. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be canceled.
I don't either. I don't think any.
It's not a natural human reaction. You know what I mean? Like he reacted like, and I feel that's another issue with society now is that they hold celebrities on a pedestal and they have to meet this standard and they have to be, have these high expectations for them, but they forget they're human.
Well, but the other point of that is I do think Will Smith should have had more self-control on it. Yeah, most definitely. And it is the news coming out today that he has checked himself into a rehab.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That's a good thing.
I had said it after the slap happened, and then I had heard that he had won the Oscar, and then it was saying, here's a clip of Will Smith's acceptance speech. So I watched that, and immediately when I watched it, I go, this guy needs help. Like there is something going on with him. So I applaud him. Like I said, the point of us discussing this again, was not to tear into Will Smith. Like I applaud him actually recognizing that he has a problem and that he needs help. He does.
That's big because I know he had spoken out about when COVID had started, about a year in, he actually thought about taking his own life numerous times. So somebody has to be struggling mentally to snap like that.
Yeah.
Emotionally snap like that. So again, like he's human. I don't agree with him getting up and smacking. He should have definitely had better self-control.
Right. Yeah.
He's going through something. The big part is that he's taking accountability and working on it.
That's the main reason that I, coined myself as Team Chris Rock, because I am a person that believes you do not have the right to put your hands on anyone else. Keep your hands to yourself. And I'm also a person who I am struggling very hard with the ACLU lately because, I mean, I had it set up in my will that some of my money that a portion was going to go to the ACLU because I think it is such an important organization to protect the right of everyone's free speech. And the fact that they have changed their MO, I can't support it anymore. Even though before they did not agree with the KKK wanting to have a protest or something, right? A rally. They protected the rights for them because they had the right to speak that way. Even though they disagree completely what is spoken, we must protect the right of free speech.
Right.
And I am a believer in that.
Right. And this goes back to something that I supported. Do you remember when Imus made the comment about the women's basketball team? I think they were in New Jersey. I think they were Princeton, maybe, the basketball team. Yes. And he made a comment about the women's hair. And I, in these day and ages, you can't say it anymore. So, and he got fired for that, but his intent it was just a joke. And here's the other thing that I'm going to get into, is when he realized he made a mistake, he apologized for it. And I think that is, once you apologize for it, and maybe you do something charitable also. But once you apologize for it, that should be it. And this goes to the Grammy Awards this week, and Louis C.K. got the Grammy Award for the Best Comedy Album. Now, whether you think Louis C.K. is a pervert or not, that's fine. Don't buy the album. Don't go to his shows. Don't support him. Don't buy his tickets. But I don't think his livelihood should be taken away from him once he apologized for that.
Right.
Well, and
they apologize and they change their behavior. I mean, that's even with people who are born into a racist family, right? They're trying not to be racist. They're trying to unlearn those ways. They apologize and we make mistakes. We say the wrong things. We apologize and we move forward. There's no reason to hate them or cancel them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a learning. We all make a mistake.
Like, okay, so getting back just briefly to when you were talking about Imus. I personally would take your stance on the fact, okay, he apologized and he did charity work or whatnot to make up for it and blah, blah, blah. However, if a company, I'm also, like, we are a company, or we are a country, I feel like we live in a company, though, a business. Private business is allowed to do what private business, they're allowed to make decisions to run their business. So if they choose to fire someone, that's on them. I don't have to agree with it, but that's also their right.
Right.
So there's that. I mean, I don't have the right to go and tell a business how they should run their business. I don't have the right to do that as a regular citizen. So, I mean, when we talk about being canceled, yes, it's not like they should be canceled and basically destroyed and never to be heard of again.
Well, but from a corporate standpoint also, like saying, whoever had Netflix had development deal with Will Smith to do a movie and they shut it down.
Because maybe they feel like, you know what, this is no longer going to be a good business deal for us. And we're in the business of making money because we live in the United States, and that's what it's about.
I think you just ride it out, though, because like the price of Chris Rock tickets has shot up, and he's selling out everywhere because people want to hear what he has to say, even though he said, "I'm not going to address it."
Well, and guess what? Maybe it's a bad business decision for Netflix specifically to cancel Will Smith. So why doesn't somebody else pick him up and say, you know what? Yeah. I see Chris Rock selling out with the fact that Will Smith is part of this hype that has been created. Well, I'm going to hire him.
Well, and you talk about the corporations, like Spotify didn't cancel Joe Rogan for what he has said lately.
Right.
Because it's for them, it's good, expensive because he brings in ratings.
They think it's a good business decision for them. People should respect what the businesses do. That's why I kind of stay out of the thing of like who gets fired. I'll say my opinion. I'm like, that person shouldn't have been fired for that. Or, but then I will say, but that is also not my decision. I am not the CEO of that company. If the CEO of that company decides that they're going to fire the person, they get fired. Right. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Right. Well, we can we'll get into all that. Sydney, while we got you on the phone, one more thing though. I noticed today that you posted about Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. What are you doing there?
So it'll be our third year, and we're trying to get okay. So I have two people that I had take over it last year, and I just supported them, and it was Terrence and Siobhan, my dear friends, and they're Black, so they know more about the holiday than I do. I'm just here to support them. So Siobhan has since moved away. So I'm reaching out to find Black community members who will, help plan it. I'll help fundraise and bring things in. Right now, Terrence and I have spoken, and we have a live entertainment already coming in, donating their time. And we're trying to find a caterer so we don't have to cook all the food this year. But we're hoping it'll be bigger than, last year. But yeah, that's where it's at right now.
And so you're doing a fundraiser to raise money for the catering, food, and all that stuff. All right. When it gets closer, we'll have to have you on, and we can talk about that more.
Right.
And the organization of that.
Definitely.
Maybe I'll get Terrence to come on too and speak.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, we just wanted to have you on because we had slightly different opinions about what happened in the Oscars. Not that far off, though.
We wanted to get her on because you're one of our friends, and we like the different perspectives. We want to hear the different points. Yeah,
and that's the problem with everything nowadays.
Nobody talks.
Is nobody wants to have a conversation. Yeah. You just get stuck in your own point of view, and there's no compromise in the middle.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on and doing this.
You're welcome.
It was good talking to you again.
Yes, and we'll have you on again soon. We're going to start having a regular schedule where we'll be recording about this time of day for the next couple months.
On Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Thursdays.
So, so keep that in mind.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Just let me know, and I'll try to plan to come.
Okay. Hey, take care of yourself, and I hope everything is going to go good with you and your family.
You too. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye,
okay,
Sydney.
Bye.
See, when you talk, things aren't really all that far off.
Didn't. To be fair, we didn't go into it thinking we were going to have a huge debate anyways. No. I mean, that's how all conversations should be, though. They should be like, people can be passionate about the way they feel, but also make their points. Yeah. That's what we should be doing.
And, we were speaking about the Oscars censoring jokes. Did you hear the one that Amy Schumer wanted to say, but the Oscars said, no, you can't do that?
I did not. Tell me more.
Yeah. She comes out and she's talking about that movie, Don't Look Up. And she goes, don't look up. It's more like don't look down the barrel of a shotgun when you're on the set with Alec Baldwin.
Oh, shit.
Now, that one, I could see that the Oscars go, no.
I could see them saying, no. That's like in poor taste because somebody died. I mean.
But now Amy Schumer is getting shit about that joke when it didn't even air. Now, I don't know why she would come out and say, the joke that I think she was trying to say. I think she was trying to make the point of, well, jokes could be worse, and they didn't allow me to say this joke. But she's getting a little bit of pushback and a little bit of cancel towards Amy Schumer for her even saying, yeah, this is a joke that I was going to say, but they did not allow it.
This is why I'm saying if we keep going at this rate, we're going to truly wonder, is comedy dead? If we keep going at this rate, like, wait.
Somebody's always
don't they have
offended.
I realize that they have sensitivity training, but we need to have training too on how to brush things off training, not letting stuff get to you. And I know, when I was younger, I used to let too much get to me. And it's it really doesn't make you feel good inside, though, when you do that. When you let too much get to you, you're worried about everything.
I got a doozy for you on the next one.
Okay.
You know how our good friend of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she came out and said, like, the 3 senators that were gonna vote to confer Ketanji Brown Jackson, how they were pro-pedophile. And Jimmy Kimmel on his show came out and said, well, where's Will Smith when you need him? Kind of a funny joke.
Yeah. And why?
Okay.
Well, what I would like to know about MTG, why are you so focused on sex and sex with kids? Do you think about this all day long of people out there having sex with kids? I mean, you guys accused Hillary Clinton of running that underground sex thing with children out of that pizza place. For fuck's sakes. They had a person who believed that so much. He went into that pizza place armed. And when the cops were arresting him, they showed footage of it because they all had the body cams. The one cop saying to the other cop, he's like, he believes the Pizzagate stuff. He's like, he thinks this is Pizzagate, because the one cop had no clue of what the fuck this guy was talking about. The guy was like, I'm here to save the children. I'm here to save the children. They're in the basement. They're renting a sex, because they all learned it from QAnon.
Yeah. Well,
why are they so obsessed with sex with kids? Usually when people do that, it's like they're doing something that's wrong, so they want to project off to others. I'm not saying she's out there molesting kids, but what is your deal?
Well, before we get into that, Marjorie Taylor Greene's response to that joke was to call the Capitol Police and report Jimmy Kimmel for doing a joke.
Oh, so she wants the help of the Capitol Police now. Bitch, where were you on 1/6? Oh, weren't you conspiring for people to take over the Capitol? Weren't you in on all that deal? Allegedly? You didn't care about the police that day. You didn't care about the police on 1/6. The Capitol Police, you didn't care about them that day.
It is kind of just unbelievable. And again, we're not...
Unbelievably hypocritical.
We're not slamming all Republicans. We have to say this each and every time. Okay.
We're not, but it's almost like
the ridiculous ones.
It's almost like it's becoming the Republican Party slogan is our brand is fear and hypocrisy.
Right. So Jimmy Kimmel had a good response to that joke. He goes, "Okay, yes, officer, I would like to report a joke, and it's a joke to waste the Capitol Police's time to even."
But apparently, she's so offended, and does this mean that you want Jimmy Kimmel canceled? That word that you love to throw around? Do you want Jimmy Kimmel canceled? Please call in. I'll expect you to call. I'll expect a call from you next week, right?
Or they can reach us at Reality Redemption on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You know. So I did a quick Google search, and because they like to say that Democrats are pedophiles. If you Google it. Let's see. Nope, not a Democrat. Not a Democrat? Not a Democrat.
What? Not a Democrat. So what are they then?
They're all. It's all Marjorie Taylor Greene. QAnon influencers. Republicans saying that Democrats are pedophiles. Oh God, no. Who's the actual one? And he was Speaker of the House that actually got convicted for pedophilia.
Is this?
I thought it would come up in the school. Apparently not.
Not Matt Gaetz. He hasn't been convicted yet.
Yeah. Well,
he's only allegedly.
Well, we go with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and who does she do a tour with? Is Matt Gaetz around the country?
Oh, Congressman John Rose.
John Rose is the one that he's
a groomer, basically.
Yeah, he was in his 40s, and he
who met his now wife in his 40s while she was an underage teenager. He paid her with a scholarship that she says made everything possible, and then married her.
Okay, and again, he's a Republican from where?
Oh, Tennessee, the state that is now trying to propose their new common law marriage law, a new law about common law marriage.
Yeah, so what that is, and we'll get this is more of, I don't understand the hate from one side about gay marriage or whatever. My opinion is, love who you love, and who cares?
Love is love.
How does it affect your life? Well, in Tennessee, what they were trying to do is they were changing the wording on the marriage laws to say between a man and a woman. What they left out was there was age restrictions, like you had to be 17 or older, and if you were 4 years older than 17, you couldn't legally get married. They took that wording out. I think today they put an amendment in that added that wording into it as an amendment, but it was strictly not to marry a 14-year-old. They did so. Let's restrict the laws on same-sex marriage, but the look isn't good. The guy's name I wanted to mention before, it was Dennis Hassert.
Okay.
Do you remember him?
No.
He was like a Speaker of the House, but he, not even allegedly, because he resigned from Congress, I believe.
That was probably before I got more into politics.
Yeah. So.
Because I used to be a very uninformed person. I didn't want to pay attention.
So I guess it was all this pedophile stuff was coming up during the confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court, that Jackson supported pedophiles when that isn't really the case. If you read into it, she just was kind of helping write laws on it and taking things on a case-by-case basis, which really isn't going soft on pedophiles. It was just kind of how the cases would proceed. But then, as they do, the words are turned around, and now she's pro-pedophile, which isn't the case.
And I only had heard that she's a person who is adamant about everyone deserves a fair trial by jury, which is what our country is set up upon. Isn't that, don't pedophiles still deserve a fair trial by jury?
Yeah. I mean, everybody deserves a fair trial.
I mean, yeah, I recently visited Salem, Massachusetts. I strongly suggest that everyone go there and take the tour, and you'll realize why everyone deserves a fair trial by jury.
Yes, and that's okay. We're not saying we're pro-pedophile, but...
No, but even no matter what you do, serial killers deserve a fair trial. Mass murderers, the people that commit the most horrific crimes, like pedophilia, you still deserve a fair trial. It is supposed to be, and this is what the whole Salem witch trials kind of are based upon. Those people were presumed guilty until proven innocent. That's why we have the system we have now today, folks. We are supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Doesn't that sound like a better system?
But then you have stuff like Matt Gaetz, who has allegations with underage girls against him and transporting girls across state lines, and one of his close advisors came out and testified against him. But then
He still deserves a fair trial, too.
No, he deserves a fair trial, but what you don't hear is the proceedings aren't being proceeded because the governor of that state...
Because Governor Death Sentence is sitting with his thumb up his ass.
DeSantis, yeah.
He's purposely not releasing these because I guess the governor, there's something there where it's like the governor reads over them or whatnot, and then they have requested that he release the records on it, and he keeps making up excuses on why they cannot be released yet.
Right, and if you're the party of anti-pedophilia, why wouldn't you release it?
Because it's happening in your party. When the pedophilia happens in your own party, those people are such sleazebags. If it happened in the Democratic Party, they'd be like, here you go. Here's the records. They're not out there. Look at what happened to Al Franken. I mean, he was forced to resign, and he didn't do half as bad of shit that, yes, what he did was still inappropriate, but he didn't do half as bad of shit as some of the folks on the other side of the aisle have done.
Yeah, and now Matt Gaetz is looking for a house in Tennessee, and...
Yeah, he's
stole your joke there.
He bought a plane ticket to go house hunting in Tennessee. He's like, I'll just get myself a summer home.
Yeah, before the records come out. But I don't know how, and you hate to say it, but why do people elect their representatives that are so stupid? Like Marjorie Taylor Greene came out this week and said, well, define a woman, because during the confirmation hearings, they asked Jackson, to define a woman, and she goes, I don't think I can do that. And all the conservatives got offended by that. Marjorie said, well, we were made from Adam's rib. Okay.
So would that make us part man, technically?
Well, wouldn't that
be... If we're made from a man's rib?
Wouldn't that be some sort of incest, too?
Yeah, I'm trying... Okay, go on.
I mean, clearly, Marjorie doesn't believe in evolution. Okay.
No, she doesn't believe in a lot of things.
And she obviously hasn't evolved.
She doesn't believe in science.
She hasn't evolved from like the Stepford Wives.
Even though she said to the one woman, she wrote the whole trust the science thing to do a dig at. There's a representative who has a transgender child. I don't know I can't remember the woman's name, but Marjorie Taylor Greene was attacking her one time and said, trust the science. Okay, if we're talking about the science of humans when they are first created, everyone starts out as a girl. Okay?
Right. It's all about chromosomes.
Everyone. And then some of them change into men and some of them don't. So don't you suppose that maybe some people should have stayed a certain way and some people should try? I mean, and how is it any of your fucking business, MTG? That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Well, she said that women are the weaker sex, which I'll disagree with, because if a man had to give birth to a child, they would not be able to stand that kind of pain. Right. Not like I know what that kind of pain is. I'm just imagining what that kind of pain is.
I know. Well, and it's like, too, okay, do I think that men can lift more weight than women? Yeah, for the most part I do. Okay, but it's like, define strong then. Define stronger. Because I'm sorry, I think that there's a heck of a lot of women who are sometimes mentally stronger than certain men.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes emotionally stronger than certain men. So define strength. Strength covers a broad spectrum.
Look at Justice Jackson. She had to sit there for hours and hours while these representatives were giving her shitty questions.
Do you know how strong her eyes must be to not roll her eyes at what Ted Cruz asked her about that anti-racist baby book? She's got the most powerful eyes on the planet because I was rolling my eyes for her.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
And not to let out one bitch please during that whole.
Another strong female that Republicans their most favorite person to hate. How many hours did Hillary Clinton ask questions on trial over Benghazi for? Wasn't it like 17 or something?
No, it was like 36.
Oh, 36. Okay, there you go. I'm even off. Like, the strength that it takes for that to sit there for that long and answer their ridiculous questions.
Well, Marjorie also said that we are our husband's wife. Now, what if you're not married? Okay? I mean, so she's basically saying the woman is the weaker person. Maybe if she's maybe she believes that
saying that we belong to men. I belong to myself. I belong to myself. When you're a child, you belong to your parents. That's the only time that you belong to somebody else. Once you become an adult, you belong to yourself. Does your husband make all your fucking decisions for you? Because I've been running my life since I've been in my early 20s. I've been doing everything on my own, running my entire house by myself. She probably wouldn't know what to say to somebody like me.
Do you know if she's married? Was she Marjorie Taylor and married a Green?
I know she's married, but I don't know any of that. I don't know anything about that.
Because, oh, well, I wonder if
why would she keep her own last name? Why wouldn't you not? I thought you would throw that away. That's no good for me anymore. My husband does everything.
I wonder if Bobart's single. Because I should just ask her out on a date and then be like...
No, she's married too. She owns that restaurant, that Shooter's Place. But her husband got in trouble before she got elected.
My point being is, if I was the husband, if they believe that you're submissive to your husband, I'd be like, would you just shut up and stay home?
Right. But they're both obviously married to men who are like, yes, tell me to get my ass back in the kitchen. I mean, they're like men that would do that. Get in the kitchen. Shut up and fix me a turkey pot pie.
Why would they run for Congress in the first place?
Don't they have a job to do at home? Yeah. Like be in the kitchen? Yeah. Hey, y'all asked for it. Y'all asked for that life.
The final part, and God, and we hate to rag on Republicans, but DeSantis...
It's so easy.
DeSantis passed a Don't Say Gay bill, which, I guess through kindergarten through third grade, you can't mention, having gay parents. So if a kid comes in and the kid happens to have two dads or two moms, can't say, hey, my mom's made this for me. Why did this go out? Okay, so they came out with this law in Florida that you can't say gay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the kid can't come in and say, hey, my mommy's got this for me for Christmas, for an example. Not allowed. And the teacher's not allowed to mention that to the kids. So Disney took the stand as they came out and said, we don't support that. Now everybody's going, well, Disney is too woke. And DeSantis is trying to so they're trying to cancel Disney now. And I guess in Disney is sort of, because they're so huge and they bring so much business, they kind of allow this little bit of self-governing. And DeSantis wants to take that ability away from them because of their stance on, this being against the Don't Say Gay. Because Disney is all about accepting, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, love everybody. And I don't get why people are against that, especially conservatives, if they're so against the Don't Say Gay thing. And it's not indoctrinating children. It's just kind of learning to accept that there's other people out there, other viewpoints, other ways of life, other people. Love who you love. It's just a bit ridiculous. I was talking to somebody, from a dating site, and she had said, well, I think it was her niece wanted to be referred to as they, and she was like, I'm going to call her she. And I think I'm kind of groaned.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, you don't like that?" I'm like, I don't see why it's a big deal. I don't see why it would be a big deal to you to accept how that child wants to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, love is love. And hey, how you refer to yourself, and the whole transgenders and sports thing, that's up for debate. I can sort of understand certain cases, but for the most part, I don't think men are joining women's sports just to kick ass.
I don't see somebody going through the entire transition just to go finally win at sports because they wouldn't have been able to win in the. But I mean, that's the theory that
Right.
a lot of folks have. It's like, I don't see somebody completely transitioning because they felt that they weren't good enough in men's sports, so they had to transition because they're like, I would probably be good in that sports over there. I mean, is that how y'all actually think?
And I think it's just kind of just a false outrage thing. I think it's a manufactured outrage, and I don't know if it's from Fox News
You know
or
what?
whatever right wing.
I'm starting to get a crazy conspiracy of my own. It's like, okay, a lot of the baby boomers, and they're starting to be our oldest generation, right, at this period of time on Earth. One day, the Gen Xers will be the older generation, right? And then the millennials, blah, blah, blah. But now that we're in the time where, like, the baby boomers, maybe each generation, they reflect back on what things used to be like. Is it like they're freaking out? Like it's like there's too much change? Like I remember a time when we had separate bathrooms and separate drinking fountains, and now I just don't feel special anymore. I mean, what is wrong with you guys?
That was when Trump was running the first time. That Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Goes, well, was it that great in the 50s? Was it really? But this party, and I know they hate to be labeled racist, but our own Paul Gosar is going to attend a white nationalist conference on Hitler's birthday, but he doesn't want to be referred to as a racist. Well, then stop doing racist things.
I know. Why would you sign up for that why would you go speak at that if you didn't believe in that or want to get your message out to those types of people? Or are you going there to tell them that they're wrong? Are you going there to be like, you shouldn't be doing this? And I'm coming to you folks because I highly doubt that that's what's happening.
I don't know. I don't get it. And the exact same people, when you talk about the Confederate flag, will be like, well, don't you know that it was the Democrats that supported the slaves? Then why are you embracing the ideology of the Confederate flag then?
But if they're saying that, like, when they always say that, well, it was the Republicans that freed the slaves, then I'm like, I want to say, then with that logic, then aren't you on the wrong side now? I mean, then if you're, then why are you not out there protesting at the BLM things?
Right.
Or if your side is the one that thinks that Black Lives Matter, what the fuck are you doing then? Why aren't you out there?
Right, and
helping.
Or at the same time, when a white nationalist like David Duke, he endorses Donald Trump, why does Donald Trump go, no, I don't want your endorsement?
Right. It's not like Duke's past is not a secret.
Yeah, and also
it's not secret information.
And also, and this is fact, you can see it, and maybe you have to step aside of watching Fox News because that girl had told me, she goes, I watch way too much Fox News. And I'm like, well, maybe you should step outside your box a little bit. But, God, what was the point I was trying to make? That don't embrace these racist people, disavow them, if anything. Or the point I was trying to make, sorry, I got sidetracked, is you have people on camera, the same things, wearing the Make America or Keep America Great 2024 or whatever this slogan is.
Save America.
Save America. They're saying that they would vote for Putin over Biden. I know.
That blows my mind. That lunatic woman on the interview thing that said, did you hear that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm referring to.
Yeah, and it's like, you would vote for the Russian president over a United States citizen? Really?
Yeah, and the Republican Party...
Didn't they accuse Obama not being able to run because of the birth certificate? So, how is Putin going to get a birth certificate to run?
Well, because Russia... there's a reason why they call it White Russian. And, you have Africa, which they said Obama was from. So there's a
and that goes back to the first point that we were making. Stop making yourselves look like racists then. Stop.
Yeah.
You have the power to stop or shut up or, right. You have the power.
Right. When I saw that Nazi mirror in Golden Valley the other day, and I hate to say it, but I will bet that the mirror distract me. I'll bet they had a Let's Go Brandon bumper sticker on the back of that truck too.
Probably.
Hey. But hey, this is just how we see it, So if you don't want to be labeled that way, do better. And ask yourself, gay marriage, how does that affect you?
Why do you care?
Why do you care?
Why do you care what other people are doing? Why do you care what other people do in their bedroom? Do you need more sex?
A woman wants to get an abortion. Okay, so she's not on public assistance, which you want to cut. Why does that matter to you?
Love yourself. Take matters into your own hands. I'm trying to help y'all out. Incels.
Yes.
That's got to be the people who are pissed off about the whole gay marriage thing. The folks who ain't getting none.
Because you can't find somebody to love.
I know.
Oh, shit. I guess we'll fucking wrap it up on that.
Wrap it up on that one?
It's not getting better than
on
that.
Self-love?
Yes.
Self-love, y'all.
Love yourself.
In many ways, love yourself.
And maybe if you loved yourself, you wouldn't hate others.
Yes, love yourself. Yeah. Go love yourself right now.
And if you can't find a way to love yourself, go seek professional help like Will Smith is doing.
Yes. And I suggest that therapy is good for everyone.
Snow, I just got we'll end it on this. I'm glad you got pizza because I just got the message, the notification that my table was ready for El Burro Borracho. Just some women.
You should have told me earlier that you had a reservation because I am jealous. I would have went to El Burro Borracho.
I know, the trash can nachos.
I know. Why would you, hey lady, if you're listening, why the fuck would you pass up on that restaurant? Somebody tells you they're going to take you to Guy Fieri's restaurant, you go. All you have to do is have dinner. You could be like, you know what, at the end of it, or the next day, you could be like, I had a great time, but I don't really feel like we're a love connection. Like Chuck Woolery used to host, it just didn't feel like a love connection, but they're a great person.
Maybe it's because she listened to this podcast and, she was on the conservative side too, so maybe she found something that offended her.
I thought those people didn't get offended.
Well, I don't know.
Of course, MTG proved us
although the one
that they do get offended.
The one from last night that I was
so offended they'll file lawsuits.
The one that I was talking to last night,
or press charges.
That was talking about how she wouldn't address her niece as they. I did tell her that she should not listen to the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not gonna, if I don't have a niece, but if I did, if my niece wanted me to call her a unicorn, I would call her a unicorn. Okay.
Yes, because unicorns are lovely.
Yeah, like no, but it's like who cares? So that's what they want to be addressed. Just why are you like, no, I'm not going to allow you your freedoms. I want the freedom to do what I want to do. Your freedoms don't matter to me. That's why I think that they're full of shit with their whole liberty and freedom thing. They think liberty and freedoms are great for some, not all. Yeah, and I think they should be good for all.
I don't know. Hey, I guess we're woke. Disney's woke.
We are woke.
Mickey Mouse is woke. The Muppets are woke.
Everything that the Republicans don't like is woke. Let's just simplify it. Anything they don't like is woke.
Well, they were also blaming the backlash of the Will Smith on the left being too woke.
The woke left.
Yes.
Or is it the extreme woke left?
We're responsible for everything. I suppose we're responsible for Zelensky, too. Which Zelensky, at the Grammy Awards, he got up there and he gave a little taped speech during the Grammys, which was pretty cool.
Oh, cool. I didn't watch. I don't have regular TV, but...
I will say for the Grammys, Jesus Christ, I just didn't know any of the artists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't either. Like, I checked out. I used to be a huge fan of all the awards shows, but I checked out of those like
stuffy.
At the tail end of my 30s. I quit watching them. I was like, I don't really care. There's a lot of great movies out there. There's a lot of stuff that I thought. There's things where I don't want to say the actors or movies, but I was really pissed when they didn't win. So I was like, they got robbed. I'm not watching this.
The only good part about the Grammys was when Billie Eilish performed, and she performed. It was really cool. They did it at the MGM in Vegas this year, and she performed, and they made it rain. The entire stage was raining, and she played the song "Happier Than Ever," and she was wearing a Taylor Hawkins T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
And that was the coolest moment.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, so that'll wrap it up. Send us our feedback on our social media, Reality Redemption. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Give us your feedback. If you hate us, give us your feedback.
We won't cancel you.
Yeah. When we invite you on, we want differing opinions. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be attending the same conference with Paul Gosar on Hitler's birthday. I think it's here in Arizona. Marjorie, we'd love to have you on.
Maybe she'll come on. Maybe she'll call in.
Yeah.
Coming up. Maybe.
She can explain to us what a woman is.
Yeah.
And maybe as a man, I can put her in her place. Okay. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.